Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dig into a really powerful analogy that might just change the way you look at talent, hiring, and maybe even your own development. And it all kicks off with a simple concrete slab and one very smart engineer. Okay, so picture this. You're a top-notch engineer, right? You're shown this basic concrete slab on the ground. And then someone hits you with this huge, dramatic command. Now build a skyscraper on it. So, there you are. Looking at this slab seems like a simple enough starting point for a big project. But, being the pro you are, your brain instantly jumps to the single most important question you have to ask first. And your response is, of course, totally logical. You say, sure, I can do that. But first, I absolutely need to know how deep this concrete goes and what its strength is. I have to know the load it can actually bear. I mean, it's common sense, right? You have to understand the foundation before you can build anything on top of it. But the reply you get back is, well, it's baffling. Honestly, it's kind of terrifying. Just think it is deep enough. Can you even imagine hearing that? Just assume the foundation is strong enough for a skyscraper? And this, right here, is where the whole problem starts. So this ridiculous response puts our engineer in a totally impossible spot. It forces him to make a massive gamble. Let's really dive into this in our first section, the engineer's risky bet, and what it really means to build on a complete unknown. And here's the potential result of that gamble. A beautiful, shiny skyscraper that's secretly built on a foundation that's totally risky and unstable. And why is it so unstable? Well, because its most important properties, its actual depth and its real strength, were never, ever verified. It's just a catastrophe waiting to happen. So, what does he do? He really has no other choice. So he moves forward. He designs the skyscraper based on the instructions he was given. But, and this is the most important part, he makes sure to state his assumptions crystal clear. Concrete depth and strength not verified. He's covering his own back, sure, but he knows the whole project is resting on a giant, unproven guess. So you might be wondering why this whole story about concrete and engineers. Well, it's because this analogy perfectly captures a huge flaw in how we so often think about talent. Let's explore that parallel in this next part, building on assumptions. And this whole story forces us to ask ourselves a really tough question, especially for anyone who's ever hired someone or tried to build a team. When you're assessing a person for a job, are you doing the exact same thing? Are you building your entire organization on a foundation you haven't even verified? Let's break it down. On one side, you have the assumption. This is all the surface level stuff we can see easily. You know, the perfect resume, the smooth interview answers, the skills they list. That's our concrete slab. But then on the other side, you have the reality. This is their real capability, their actual inner drive, their resilience when things get tough. That's the hidden foundation, the stuff deep down that's going to decide if their performance, the skyscraper, stands tall or just crumbles under pressure. And that gets us to the absolute heart of the matter. If we want to stop building on assumptions, we have to figure out what really supports a person's potential. So let's grab a shovel and dig a little deeper to see what lies beneath. You see, under the surface of any person, there are these essential hidden layers, untapped talents, that inner fire, their true ability to bounce back. The source material makes a great point that this real capability is often hidden, and crucially, it's pretty much unverifiable through our usual methods like just talking to someone in an interview. So here's the bottom line. When we rely only on resumes and interviews, we're probably missing the most important parts of a person's professional foundation. We just can't see their hidden talents, we have no real way to measure their inner drive, and we definitely can't tell how resilient they are from a single piece of paper. This puts all of us as leaders and managers in the exact same dangerous spot as that engineer. So the question is, how on earth can you assess what you can't even see? How can you build a strong team if you're basically building it blind? Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. But what's the fix? How do we actually test the foundation instead of just hoping for the best? Well, that's where we can turn to a different path, a clearer way of doing things, the Yancha approach. The big idea here is simple. Stop guessing. The source material puts it perfectly. Use the Yancha approach to assess correctly, recruit right, and groom for future roles accordingly. Do not make assumptions. It's a complete shift in mindset from just assuming someone has potential to actually discovering it. And it's not some vague concept, it's a real, practical method. First, you work to discover a person's true potential. looking past the resume to find their raw aptitude and what they're truly passionate about. Next, you evaluate their deep skills, not just what they say they can do, but how they actually solve problems and work with others. And finally, you assess their real capability, maybe by putting them in situations that test their drive and resilience. It's a structured way to actually look beneath the surface and check the foundation before you start building. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is all great for getting the first hire right. But this idea goes so much deeper than that. It's really about seeing talent as a lifelong journey. So let's talk about what happens beyond the first hire. So is this all just about hiring? The answer is a huge, definite no. This is really about a whole philosophy on human potential and how people grow. The source material gives us this fantastic quote to chew on. There is only one constant in life, behavioral development. And that little phrase reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it? We're not just looking at a static snapshot of a person, we're assessing their capacity and their path for growing over time. So this isn't just about a one-time assessment for a single job. It's really a complete roadmap for growth, a journey that can take someone all the way from cradle to career to leadership to legacy. It's about understanding someone's foundation so you can help them build their own skyscraper over their entire life. And that brings us right back to where we started. After everything we've talked about, from that engineer's impossible choice to the hidden depths of human potential, the last question is for you. What is your team's foundation built on? Is it built on risky assumptions, or is it built on verified strength?